Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, hold on, I keep hitting my microphone here. If you'd like to join in on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube, or outside of YouTube, you can consider joining the Facebook group or the Discord I've created. There are links to those down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to check out the different meals and recipes that I've been enjoying as I've been working towards my weight loss goals. Today is day 1021 of my challenge to lose 300 pounds. So far, through a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, I have been able to lose 270 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you're struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing your struggles. We might be able to help you out. If you're succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed. Share that with everyone. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you can do or that you are doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead and switch over to the main screen here. Hello, everybody. It's finally Friday. I hope everybody is having a great day and has big, exciting plans for the weekend. The weather today has just been awesome. If you are in the Midwest and you can be outside today, it's definitely worth doing. I was cooped up in a building all day, so I didn't get a chance to, but let's see, a couple people checking in. Cindy says hi, Jay says hi, Pretty Girl's mom says hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining today's live stream. We're gonna go ahead and go over some food since yesterday. Let me see here. I got dinner from last night. Is one of my absolute favorite meals that we have. I don't think that we've had this for over a month since we've had it. So I was very excited last night when we had some creamy polenta with white beans and mushrooms. This is just a wonderful dish that we've been making for quite a while now. And so I had a bunch of that last night. I was very happy to getting that. Pretty Girl's mom says Rebecca's watching too. Well, thanks, Rebecca, for watching too. Let's see. Then for, I didn't take any, I am way out of practice for food photos. I did take a photo of my oatmeal this morning. The oatmeal was amazing. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, I mean, we use Table Tasty as a seasoning. And when we buy it in the little containers, like by the time you finish using that container, or if you try to use that container a second time, it starts to get like caked up and gets real sticky, and the cap becomes hard to get off. So we started using a jar to hold the Table Tasty in, and I was trying to sprinkle a little bit of Table Tasty onto my oatmeal, and whatever they make that out of, I think it's the nutritional yeast extract or whatever it is, it kind of gets cakey, and that's what causes the lids to become difficult to come off. But anyways, like a handful of Table Tasty fell in to my oatmeal this morning. And so, and that stuff is like probably worth as much as gold is by weight. And so, I didn't want to waste it. So I was trying to like scrape off the excess Table Tasty. I'm sure if you've ever dumped too much pepper on something, you know what it's, know what I'm talking about. But, yes, it was a little extra on the Table Tasty this morning. I did not take any more photos, but I did eat my full spectrum of food today. I had the oatmeal. After I got done with the oatmeal, maybe not spectrum, my full menu, I guess. Oatmeal followed by a bag of broccoli. And then for lunch, I had golden potatoes with broccoli, and I am very full, and it's awesome to be into a couple days now that I have been kind of eating a full diet, a full volume of food that is whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar free. Matthew here says that his cholesterol is way down. He's off his statins. And the statin was Rosuvastatin or some damn thing. That is awesome, Matt, that you are off your statin. I know many people wish that they could get to that point. And I believe statin is one of those kind of drugs, and I've never had been diagnosed to need that, but it's kind of like one of those drugs that they say you're going to take the rest of your life, right? Sort of like when people started taking diabetes medication, that they were, it's a lifelong thing. And so that's awesome that you've been able to get off of your statins. Jay here says you should substitute corn instead of the polenta. Corn is less calorie dense. Yes, it is less calorie dense, and your body would probably absorb it a little bit, or have a little harder time absorbing it than the polenta, but the polenta is just so tasty. Carrie's checking in saying hello, Carrie. Cindy says, sounds like your oatmeal was quite tasty. No pun intended. Yes, the first bite was, again, like I said, if you ever over peppered something, it was kind of that same way. The first bite was kind of like, I had to cough a little bit, or it got caught in my throat a little bit. But after that first bite, it was amazing. Matt says one of the side effects of the statin you are on was death. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's, you're trying to avoid that. Yes, absolutely. That, yeah, I'm sure that's one of the many side effects. And some of the side effects might have you wishing for death, with some of those things, but, that's awesome that you're off of them now and you found a way to eat that gets you off of them. And so now, if you want to stay off of them, you just got to keep eating this way, because the way you used to eat put you in a position where you had to take a medication to keep you from dying. And one of the side effects of that medication was death. So that's awesome, Matt. Thanks for sharing that. Pretty Girl's mom says you can buy it in 1 or 2 pound bags, then just use a spoon and sprinkle it. The Table Tasty. That's what we do. We buy a big bag because it's very expensive. And if you buy it in the little containers, it's even more expensive. And we take it from the big bag and we put it into a little jar. And so I usually do use a spoon or a fork, but sometimes I just try to shake the jar. But it's like not a very big jar. I don't have anything incomparable in size, but It's only like it's probably 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And I was just like, oh, I'll just shake a little bit on. And then the whole mass of it that was in the jar just fell over into my bowl. So yes, from now on, I will be sticking to a spoon and just sprinkling it. Or actually, I like to take a fork and use that because you pick up less when you use a fork. And then just sprinkle it on. Yes, that's what I'm gonna have to do from now on. But it was very tasty and it was good. Had my broccoli after that, had my potatoes and broccoli, and feel really good. Feel full, very satisfied with how things are going right now. Yeah, the diet's going well right now, and I'm excited to, get to that 5-day week after being compliant and really getting to a point where it's I'm feeling it through my whole body. I haven't noticed the pain in my ankle much today. Like yesterday, there was kind of a little bit of a nagging pain, but it doesn't seem to be there today or as much. Cindy says, did I miss a weigh-in this week? You did not miss a weigh-in this week. I did not weigh in this week. I'm not sure when I'm going to weigh in again, at least on stream. I kind of bounced up after the Ragbri event and then just kind of not sure if I want to, if I'm going to do the weekly weigh-ins or how I'm going to do that going forward. So, because I'm coming up, I got 75 days, 74 days now till the end of the 3 years, which is amazing. That I have been doing this for almost 3 years now. And that was, such a huge aspect that I never imagined. It's a hard thing to say because obviously I imagined in some capacity that I would still be doing here. And I must imagine in some capacity I'd still be doing this in 3 years because that's what I set my initial challenge up to be is to focus on my health and well-being for 3 years. It's just the path that I've gone down and how I got to this point where it's 1,020 days later, I'm 270 pounds lighter, and it's just awesome to be here right now and to be living this life that I'm living in comparison to the life that I was living or where I would be at this point. There's so much that has happened in my personal life and professional life that without these changes never would have happened. And so there's no telling how much different my life would have been had I not started this channel and it gone down such an unpredictable path for me. Let's see. Pretty Girl's mom says, I wonder if a small silica pack in the jar would absorb some of the moisture. That might, you know what? That's what it is. It's every time we open the thing up, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not like rocket science, but I was trying to figure, I was asking Carrie today, I was like, why does it even do this? Like, it doesn't seem like it would be the type of, substance that would like, it's so dry, but it makes sense that it's just absorbing moisture out of the air. And that's why it's getting that. So, let's see. Yeah. So I don't know if a silica pack, but it makes sense. Yeah. We'll have to set it next to like a dehumidifier or something, or vacuum seal it every time we close it. But yes, thanks for mentioning that, because that's what it is. It's the moisture in the air that it's causing the caking. Cindy says, so it's going to be a grand reveal instead of a weekly weigh-in. Yes, that's kind of what I'm looking at here, or a monthly thing. I'm not exactly sure. Jay says you must weigh in weekly to account and see where you are at. Jonathan, I weigh in every day. I'm not, that's not, I'm not avoiding the scale. I've never avoided the scale. I've always got on the scale every day and faced whatever it was going to say. And really, since starting this diet, never been frustrated by the scale, because if the scale doesn't say what I want it to say, I can look back at my last week and say, okay, well, that's why the scale didn't move the way I wanted it to move. Or the scale may not move the way I wanted it to move, but it moved the way that my lifestyle pushed it to move. I guess I don't know a clearer way of saying that, but yes. Jay says, why don't you use nutritional yeast to season your food instead of expensive Table Tasty? Because we've bought all of the raw ingredients from Table Tasty, but the assholes over at Table Tasty don't give us the exact recipe. So if I knew the exact recipe that they use, then I would just copy their recipe. But nutritional yeast alone does not do what Table Tasty does to the flavor. If it did, then I would eat nutritional yeast alone. But if I have the option and the ability to get Table Tasty, then I'm okay with splurging a little bit on some seasoning that I put on just about everything I eat. So, and we have tried it with just nutritional yeast, and it's not as good. And we've tried it with nutritional yeast plus a bunch of the ingredients that we purchased that are listed on the ingredient label from them. But like I said, we don't know the exact combination. So we've played around with it. Yes. So Jay says, don't weigh in every day. You will make yourself crazy. No, I don't believe that at all. I believe that, you can make yourself crazy weighing in every day, but I don't believe that it is a certainty that you will become crazy if you weigh in every day. I believe that in one of Dr. Greger's book, I imagine it was probably How Not to Diet, he mentions that there have been studies done that show that people that do regular weigh-ins or check their weight every day have a higher success rate than people that don't. And so, again, like I said, I don't give the scale that weight that some people do. I guess pun intended, right? I've always had a pretty relaxed relationship with the scale. I have, since I was in first grade, I wrestled, and part of wrestling is having to have your body weight measured, and then they pair you up with kids that have a similar body weight to you. And from the time that I was in first grade, I was always heavier than my peers, and I always had a bigger number. And what they would do in little kids wrestling is you would go and you would weigh in, and then they would take a big black marker and they would write your weight on your hand. So as a fifth grader, a fourth grader, a sixth grader, or seventh grader, you were walking around a gym all day with your weight written on your hand. So it was always public what my weight was at that, with those events. And like I said, I was always the heaviest kid. And it was really the way that they did the tournaments was that they grouped kids up in age groups where first and second grade wrestled each other, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, seventh and eighth. And when I was in the older age, like when I was in second grade, fourth grade, and sixth grade, I would get to the tournament in the morning. We would give them our $20 or whatever to register to wrestle in the tournament. We'd go up. I would weigh in. They'd write my weight on my hand. Within about an hour of the weigh-ins, I would get a phone call or not a phone call. We would get, there would be an announcement over the PA, or there would be, hey, can we have Jonathan Fa or John Fa come to the front desk? And I would come to the front desk. And after the first time or two that this happened, I knew what it was. And it was pretty common for me then. So I would get to the front desk and they would say, hey, they would talk to my parents. They wouldn't talk to me because I was just in, let's say fourth grade, for example. I was in fourth grade and they would say, hey, Mr. Fa, all the kids weighed in. There's nobody that is within 15% of your son's body weight. So if I weighed 200 pounds, there was nobody that was over 170 pounds. Is that right? Something like that. Or no, it would have been more than that. Anyways, there was nobody within 15% of my body weight. And so they'd say, you have a couple options. We can refund your money. You can, John can get a trophy for winning his weight class that he created because he was the fattest kid here. And he would get a trophy for signing up, or we can move him up and have him wrestle with the older kids. And so, when I was in, second grade, I would end up wrestling third and fourth graders. Fourth grade, I'd wrestle with the fifth and sixth, and then sixth grade, I'd wrestle the junior high kids. And so, I'm always the biggest person. And so I'm never ashamed of my weight or ashamed of checking my weight or knowing what my weight is. I guess ashamed. I have been ashamed, I guess, when I was at my heaviest weight, but, at this point I don't have that kind of same, and I've talked about this throughout the 3 years that, on the channel here, is that I don't have the same relationship with the scale that a lot of people have, because then when I was in high school, I weighed in all the time with wrestling, and I was, all the other kids hated me because I could eat whatever I wanted. Or at least that was what they got the impression of. And I was pretty much eating whatever I wanted, but I still, even with a weight limit of 275 pounds in high school, battled with that, keeping my weight under that a little bit. It wasn't difficult for me to stay under 275, but, I was at that border most of the time that I was in high school. So, and so, yeah, since I've started this channel, I did the 40-day water fast. I weighed in every day during the water fast. And then just kind of have a scale at work. I don't even have a scale at home. So, I guess I don't weigh in daily because I don't weigh in on Saturday and Sunday because I don't have a scale at home. But, I do. Jay here says that the Target salt-free lemon seasoning is delicious, but not a lot of pepper in it. Okay. Yeah, there's not a lot of pepper. Is it a lemon pepper seasoning? And then it just doesn't have a lot of pepper in it. Yeah, we'll have to try that. We had gotten one of the Tabitha Brown seasonings, and I think that those might be sold at Target. It was Sunshine by Tabitha Brown is one of the ones we tried. But yeah, so yeah, I don't. I really believe that weighing in regularly is the only way you're really going to have a true gauge of whether or not um, you're succeeding. And one of the things you have to realize is that if the scale plateaus, that in the long run, that is a success, because, um, losing weight and keeping it off, uh, is a success the whole time. I guess what I'm saying is that for that second year, I lost 30-ish pounds, maybe 30 to 50 pounds the second year. And so it was not near as successful as the first year, but something that I realized at the end of the second year was that at no point in my life had I ever lost weight and kept it off. Every time I've ever lost weight, it was followed by, this catastrophic failure with just this ridiculous rebound that always put me heavier than when I started. And there was no time where I had spent a year really at the same weight or gotten lighter over the course of a year. And the closest I ever did to that was when I was taking an appetite suppressant to lose weight. So keeping weight off is just as big of a success as losing weight. And I think that people get hung up on plateaus, and it's generally not. Something's causing the plateau, but if what's causing the plateau isn't causing you to gain weight, then you don't need to stress about it too much. It's been 25 years since I was 250 pounds. And if I end up hanging out at 250 pounds for a couple months, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's something that, it's been crazy. And like I said, I never, I don't know how, you get, it's just weird. It's been a crazy 1,021 days to get me to this point, and I'm so happy to be here. And it's been a trip so far, and I'm excited to, get through this 3 years and really to do this the rest of my life. It's not something where it's just, and maybe that's why people get hung up on plateaus, is because so many diets are, I just got to suffer through this diet till I get to my goal weight and then everything will be better. That's the mentality, right? And so when you're suffering through to doing anything you can to just get to that goal weight, when you hit a plateau, it's like an eternity. It feels like forever and ever and ever, because you were suffering before you got to the plateau. You're suffering through the plateau, and you know that it's going to be suffering after you get through the plateau. And that has been the formula for every other diet I've done. But that does not happen when you eat a volume of food that is what your body craves, what your body needs. And when you satisfy that need, you don't have that suffrage that people go through. You don't have the pain of, oh my God, I can't do this another day. Why do I have to keep doing this? It's such a different diet, and it's amazing. And if you haven't tried eating a whole food plant-based diet, please give it a try, because it has absolutely changed my life, and I am so happy. And the title here is Losing It with Diet Alone. Like, I don't work out. I don't go to the gym. I'm more active now than I was, but I don't supplement my poor diet with exercise. And I see so many people doing that. And it's great in the short run, but it doesn't have the sustainability that you need, because you never know what life's going to throw at you. You never know how it's going to change your schedule. You never know if you're going to have injuries or illness. And when you're relying on something like exercise to lose weight, you can't count on always being able to exercise, and so many people, and I probably did it in the past, that you're working out to lose weight, and you're losing weight, and your diet is better than it used to be, but it's still not a great diet. And you're doing this working out, and you're doing this working out, and you're doing this working out, and then you get injured while you're working out. And so now you can't do the workout, but you're still eating the same food. And then you check the scale and you're not losing like you were, or you gained weight and you don't know why. And then it gets frustrating. And then it's the catalyst for the end of the diet. And that, I'm sure has happened to me. And sometimes it's just having that, first time at the gym pain is enough to get you to quit your diet. But sometimes it's been, bigger injuries. And, I've had big injuries since starting this diet, and I'm still on it. And the reason why is because what I eat, what I put in my mouth, is what I have the most control over. And until I become unable to feed myself, I can say no. Or I can say I want something different. And that won't change. Like, I tore my distal bicep, both of them, over the past 3 years. And I still stuck to the diet. I'm still eating a whole food plant-based diet. And that has been because I'm not relying on outside sources. 10 years ago, I lost 100 pounds taking phentermine, and it was great while I was relying on this outside force. But as soon as the doctor said, hey, we can only let you take this drug for 9 months because it's an off-label prescription, so you're going to have to go off of it for, I don't know, maybe it was 6 months is what I was supposed to do at the time, and then and then you can get back on it. Within a week, I was eating I was already eating junk crap food to lose the weight, but I was able to do that because I was never hungry. I was taking appetite suppressant. But then once the appetite suppressant went away, the junk food quadrupled, and I gained the weight back because I was relying on an external force to help me lose weight. The gadgets I bought over the years, the Fitbits, and I even have this watch that, I don't really use for activity tracking. but it was the intention when I bought it was activity tracking. I remember back when me and Carrie were first dating, we were watching the Biggest Loser TV show, and they had these armband things, and we're like, oh, let's get the armband things that they have on the TV show. So we dropped a ridiculous amount of money for a couple of those, and we wore them for a couple weeks, and then got out of the habit, or charging them became a hassle, or, you have to not only track it, but then you have to look and disseminate the data and decide what you need to do differently. And again, trying to use an external force to help me lose weight when it's all internal. Weight loss is internal. It's what you eat. It's what you put in your body that creates the weight loss. And eating a whole food plant-based diet changes the calorie density of the food that you're eating. And so you go from eating 1,500 calories per pound foods, sometimes 2,000 calories per pound foods, to eating 300, 400, 500 calorie per pound foods. And just by switching the density of your food, you give yourself a greater chance to lose weight. Because if I eat 5 pounds of food at 600 calories per pound, that means I've eaten 3,000 calories, which is a lot. It's a lot of food. That's a lot of calories. But if I ate that same 5 pounds of food, but it had 1,200 calories per pound, so double the calories per pound, then I've eaten 6,000 calories. Nobody can get themselves into a calorie deficit if they're eating 6,000 calories a day. And so you have to realize that just removing the food isn't enough. You have to replace the food. So you can't just say, oh, I'm just going to quit eating all of the junk food. You have to say, okay, I used to eat a couple pounds of junk food or 4 pounds of junk food a day. Now I need to eat 4 pounds of health food for that, to replace that, because your body needs the volume. Your body needs to be processing the food. It needs to be digesting it. It needs to be creating your energy from the food that you're eating. So you have to focus on lowering the calorie density so that you can give your body the best chance. And then another great thing about eating a whole food plant-based diet is that by eating the whole food, many times the food has skin on it or shell or some sort of casing that is very hard to digest or is undigestible completely. And the advantage to having that in your diet is that when the food is going through your digestive system, when it's in your intestines, that's where your body absorbs the nutrients from the food. If you have the skin of the vegetables in there, it blocks your body's ability to absorb some of the food. If there's skin from the bean up against the intestinal lining, then your body isn't able to absorb anything at that where it's touching there. And so then that creates an environment where even though you're eating 2,000 or 3,000 calories per day, your body isn't absorbing 100% of those calories. But if you switch your diet to eating, processed sugars and corn syrups and having oil, seed oil or fat, that's all highly digestible. It's liquid. And so it's easy for your body to absorb the calories from it, so that when you're eating a calorie that has a lot of oil in it, you're going to absorb a higher percentage of those calories because it's easier to absorb. And because there is no fiber, there's no skin to keep your body from absorbing all of it. And Douglas here says nutrition helps the body carry the macros more efficiently. Yeah, I think that eating a variety of foods is great, and it helps. Yes, having nutrition in your diet and I have such a variety of nutrition in my diet. I never realized it before, but I gave up like 5 things when I switched to eating this way. I gave up cow, I gave up pig, I gave up chicken, I gave up dairy, and I gave up eggs. And there's really not a lot of variety. Like, I would eat different parts of the cow and different parts of the pig and call it different things. But to think that you're getting something different just because you're eating its arm versus its leg is silly. But now I eat just crazy varieties of foods that have a incredibly diverse nutritional profile. I never ate spinach and kale, red peppers, very little, quinoa, polenta, white beans, rice. I never ate any of that stuff. And now I bet if I sat down and made a list, there's 30 to 50 different things that I eat now that I never even considered food before. And so, yes, eat a variety of food so you get adequate nutrition. Douglas says weigh once per week. That's a good pace. Yeah. Yeah, I would try to quit avoiding the scale. I guess that's going to be what I'm saying, is that I know there's a lot of people out there that don't look at the scale. And if you're at a healthy weight, or if you're not concerned about your weight, then that's fine. But if you're trying to lose weight, you have to measure it somehow. If you don't want to get on the scale, then get a tape measure and measure your waist. But the scale is the quickest, most reliable measurement tool you have to see if you're losing weight. And realize that not all weight loss or weight gain is fat. When you first start your diet, you're going to see a huge amount of weight. I think I lost 30 plus pounds when I was that first week of fasting. I didn't lose 30 pounds of fat. I lost a couple pounds of fat, but I lost a ton of fluid and whatever else my body had built up in it. And the same with the weight bump up is, from one week to another, if you gain a couple pounds on the scale, it isn't a couple pounds of fat. It's likely something in your diet has caused you to retain more food or more fluid, or something I feel like I found is stress definitely has caused me to stalemate on my weight loss or even gain weight in some ways. So there's a lot of things that can play into it. Let's see. Jay says you got to eat more yams, sweet potatoes. They are calorie dilute at 350 to 400 calories per pound. Yep. Lots of yams, sweet potatoes, anything that's low calorie dense. Fruits are low calorie dense. Non-starchy vegetables are low calorie dense as well. And we talked about it the other day. But avocados, nuts, and seeds, those have a place in a whole food plant-based diet. But if you're trying to lose weight and you're not losing weight, then that is the worst offender in your diet as far as calorie density goes, then you might have to look at removing those. But yeah, just keep the foods as low calorie dense as possible, and realize that you don't really need anything but the food, like the in my mind, I always thought you had to have a dressing on a salad. You had to have some sort of liquid on a salad. And now I realize that the vegetables have plenty of liquid in them on their own. Like it's been a while since we had a salad, but I'm just thinking about how satisfying it is to eat a big salad of spinach. And I think Carrie, one of the streams I did a long time ago, we had a list of everything that was in the salad, and we had like 18 different things in the salad. You don't need to put a dressing on it. You can just eat the salad just as it is. Carrie said salad. It's what's for dinner tonight. Was that just because I mentioned salad, or were you going to be doing a salad anyways? Because if it's because I mentioned salad, I'm going to have to, yeah, I'll have to laugh. But Pretty Girl's mom says, I think John and Carrie are both doing a great job with what they eat. Yeah, I'm happy with the food that we're eating. Something that has kept us kind of able to stick to this is having an abundance of the food that we eat at our house, and having sorry, this thing's beeping at me, and not bringing the junk food into our house. Like that's something that is really helpful, and we have, there's some kind of gray line with that because we do have our kids' food. But for me, I've always had a good distinction between what's my food and what's my kids' food. We've even, I don't know, it's been easy for me with the kids' food around. I know it's probably harder for Carrie with the kids' food around. And so, but yeah, if you have a clean environment, it makes it easier to stick to it. Carrie says she already had that planned. That's great. So that'll be dinner tonight. Yes, Chef AJ says here that Chef AJ says, if you're not hungry enough to eat vegetables, you're just not hungry. The number of times I've said that to my kids and they just don't listen. Maybe I have to have Chef AJ tell them that, and then they'll listen. Because when I say, go have a carrot or go eat a piece of fruit, they say that's not good enough. And I say, if you're not hungry enough to eat a vegetable, then you're just not hungry. And then they cry and cry and cry, and then they get their way. So, anyways, I'm going to hop off of here. I think I got a busy weekend. We have in-laws coming in. They have been taking care of a couple of our kids for the past few days. So it'll be good to get the kids home and have a nice weekend. Hopefully the weather is nice enough to hop in the swimming pool. How great would that be? Maybe I'll check that out while we're on stream, because who doesn't love to talk about the weather? It might be nice enough. It says it's going to get warm enough and sunny all weekend. We might get in the swimming pool. That'll be awesome. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will be back live next week. Thank you guys so much for the support. I know I said it a bunch yesterday, but we did finally, Carrie says it's supposed to be hot. It looks like it's going to be hot. Maybe not hot, but let's see. What does Douglas say? He says, seems like calorie density is important for optimal burn absorption ratios. If you're looking to gain or lose weight, reduce free radicals by eating whole food. They come in a package that works. Yes, the whole food comes in a package. I imagine that like the whole apple is the package. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Uh yeah, there is Cindy says you're hitting 70 tomorrow. Woohoo. Well, we're hitting higher than 70 here. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Yes, awesome. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Got me over 2,000 subscribers. Now you got to get me to 5,000 subscribers. We got to go 150% more. So 2,000 was not enough. The whole world has to know. So make sure you're hitting the thumbs up on this video, sharing, doing all that stuff. You're welcome, Douglas. Thank you guys for the support. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're still listening to me, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. Quit putting it off. I did that for decades. I made it a tomorrow John, a problem for tomorrow's John to deal with. And tomorrow's John never showed up. I kept calling him to come into work and he never showed up. So I had to do it myself. So get started right now. You won't regret it. Nobody ever does. I will see you guys on Monday.